Happy Monday. So today I have Haris with us, who is a product management professional with end-to-end product management experience in designing, developing, and launching products into the market in both Fortune 500 and Fortune 500 companies, along with startups. He has led global cross-functional team, making sure that differences can coexist, but making sure that the productivity is not affected. Let's welcome Haris on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where he will tell us about where he's working, what his role is within the company, and whether the company that he's working with is hiring or not. Hi, Haris. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Haris, can you tell us about where you work, what your role is within the company?
Sure. Yeah. So I work at Blend Labs, which is a fintech company providing software to lenders, banks, and financial service firms so that they can and we collectively can provide the best end consumer experience across the life cycle of and our products, whether it's mortgages, credit cards, debit cards, etc. At Blend, I lead the mortgage product line, which is kind of our original product. We're a public company, so it's over 100 million in ARR and growing really, really quickly. And that's a little bit about me at Blend.
Okay. And how did you end up at this company? Was it because you knew the company existed? Was it because your friend worked at this? What was the connection?
Yeah, I ended up knowing someone who worked at the company. I was growing really, really quickly, looking for a head of product for this business line. And just the opportunity to change the way financial service is done and empower the end consumer, make it more fair, more transparent, more self-service. That was a really exciting charter. The company is also growing really fast and had an amazing culture from my conversations, and I wanted to help be a part of it.
Okay. And you have an experience when it comes to product management. Because you've had such a varied experience, according to you, what does it take for a product manager to be successful in his role?
Yeah, so for a PM, product manager, it can vary from role to role, and of course, level and type of product and type of company as well. So there are obviously some sort of skill sets, like being analytical, being customer driven, being technical, being good at execution, that all help. But really, what I've found across the various jobs, and I've worked in consumer and enterprise companies, that's all scale. It's really, it's the most important things are the right characteristics. So folks who have grit, who are humble, who have clear communication, are really good at breaking down abstract problems and solving them, because that's what you do all day, every day, pretty much as a product manager. I think those characteristics are the things I think that carry forward from job to job. But then obviously there's nuanced requirements and skill sets as well that can make people effective.
Okay, you mentioned about certain characteristics, but for a hiring manager or for an interviewer to get to those characteristics, the candidate has to make it through the interview. According to you, what should a candidate do in their resume that would make them stand out, that would get them to that interview level?
Yeah, many things, right? So when I'm looking for interviews, and now I've probably interviewed hundreds of candidates over the last 10 years, I'm usually looking at a few things. One is just the crispness of communication, what they've done, what problem they failed, what the outcomes were, and being really crisp about those, how that's driving value to the business or to the customer. So some of it's without even sharing what the bullet points are and what their experiences are, but how it's written. I think that usually speaks to the thoughtfulness that the candidate might have, and then beyond that, you're looking for different things like have they worked through hardships, have they built a product 0 to 1, have they been able to scale it successfully, have they had an impact on the business, looking at those things in the resume.
Okay. And last question regarding this would be that specifically, usually hiring managers ask at the end of the interview, what are some questions that you would like for us to ask? What are some good questions that candidates can ask that you're like, okay, wow, this candidate has done the research. This candidate, I would like him to be on our team. Can you maybe elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, I always appreciate candidates who have more thoughtful, tailored questions. There's obviously some always good generic canned questions to ask, but I appreciate candidates who've maybe done a little bit of due diligence. If it's a public company, have seen recent product announcements or news, or looked at industry specific information and asked questions. Or someone who's going deeper and is asking questions based off the conversation interview we've had in the sessions. Those are the things I usually appreciate.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And also, Haris, is your company hiring? What kind of positions are open? And what kind of people would you want for them to be a part of your team? Can you maybe elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, so at Blend, we're hiring across the board, really growing quickly year over year, and the war and need for talent is always ever present across all functions: product engineering, design, sales, you name it. So we're looking at candidates across the board. On the product side, for example, we have multiple roles open, and in general, we're looking at all levels of experience. You don't have to have fintech experience. Like I mentioned at Blend, we want to change how financial services is done. And part of that requires having a fresh perspective and challenging the norms of how things were done in the past. So, really looking for really sharp, talented candidates who are also good cultural fits.
Okay. And what is one thing that would most likely increase the chances of a candidate getting into Blend that you would see on the resume? It could be their cover letter, it could be anything that you would be like, okay, this person would definitely be a really good fit for our company.
Yeah, I mean, like you're looking for signals of has a candidate been successful? So there might be very different signals. It could be like have they progressed at a job in their career and gone from product manager to senior product manager, or expanded their scope, or delivered or shipped products. What meaningful things they've done. I think that's something we're always looking for.
Okay, well, Haris, that was pretty much it. The last question would be: what is one piece of advice that you would have for job seekers out there that would help them in their job seeking process?
Definitely. So, I mean, like the tech industry is growing really, really quickly. So there's lots of jobs out there, but at the same time, there's a lot of competition as well out there too. Everyone from traditional industries wants to jump in. Always think about how you have a unique angle. Every company wants to hire folks that fit really well, so whether it's referrals or you've tailored your resume or you've done some research behind the company. So I encourage folks to really pick companies and spaces that they're really interested in and go deep, and then that shows in the interview process as well.
Okay, well, you heard it from Haris. Find your edge and make sure that you stand out amongst the competition that you might be facing against. Well, Haris, thank you so much for joining us on a Monday evening. It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure speaking with you and learning from you about your experience. I hope you have a great rest of your day and your weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.